Hi, this is my mallard duck population data explanation. Let's get into it. Starting with the general estimation, there are 3 areas of a species called southern cattails around the lake. They're evenly spaced, so my process looked a little bit like quadrat estimation. At any given time of the day, there were around 4 ducks near each set of southern cattails, so I put my total estimation at about 12 ducks. And just a little PS, the lake is pretty small, even though my measurements are pretty big. For a lake, it's not super big. So I took that into account when I made my estimation, because most of the time there were not that many ducks, and there's also some other factors that go into that cause the low population, but we'll get into those later. So let's move on to the birth rate. The mallard duck mating process starts in the fall. They lay their eggs around May to late July. Their eggs hatch about 28 days after being laid in groups of 8 to 12. Only 30% of ducklings usually make it past the first 30 days, leaving only 5 to 8 ducklings. I observed a mother duck with 4 ducklings, which is a little below the average. So I kind of took that into account, that it might be a little below the average for the area I'm working with. So I decided to put the birth rate at about 8 ducks a month, which is 0.67 per duck per month. Going on to the death rate, they have a few predators such as coyotes, crows, domestic dogs, and some fish. Also, there's the high duckling mortality rate that I mentioned earlier. But there's also the problem of humans, who I've seen on multiple occasions, not myself, but I've heard a lot about humans accidentally running over ducks with their cars, which really sucks. So I'm putting the death rate at about 6 ducks, which is 0.5 per duck per month. Some other limiting factors: ducks fly to other lakes a lot. There's a lot of other lakes in my area, like Menifee Lake, and also there's the Wilderness Lakes campground not too far from the lake by my house. So I have made a prediction that a lot of ducks probably fly to those other lakes because they are much bigger, and there's probably a bigger population of ducks in those areas too, which would make it easier for them to find a mate. There's also the fact that there is not that many male ducks in my area. Every time I had gone down to the lake this summer and I had observed the ducks, I maybe this entire summer saw only 1 or 2 male ducks, which are very easy to identify because of their green, shiny heads. So that probably makes it hard for females to find a mate to have ducklings with. So I'm gonna say that probably brings the rate down a lot. Moving on to my hypothesis. Due to the limiting factors such as lack of male mates, other habitats, high duckling mortality rate, and predatory behavior, we can expect the duck population to fluctuate slightly during hatching season before plateauing, which will result in an average growth rate of about 0.17 per duck per month, which, translating, the total growth rate will be about 2. The population has probably almost reached its carrying capacity due to the fact that there's not that much room for ducks and there are better places for them to go. And then here's my graph at the end. I'd say it started at about 10 in June and then moved up to 12 in July, since some eggs had hatched by then. The babies were not present in June, but then I had seen the babies in July. And then in August, I expect it to go down a little bit because babies are going to stop being born, and I'm sure that will cause some of them to leave to look for another potential mate for the next season. That's it. Thank you.